Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Ever tried reading while jogging, cooking, or even juggling flaming torches? Yeah, it doesn't end well. But with audiobooks.com, you can conquer books without the circus act. Dive into over 450,000 titles, including more than 10,000 free ones. Get hooked on a bestseller, find your next obsession, or finally read that classic you've been avoiding since high school. And here's the inside scoop. Sign up today for a free 30-day trial and snag your first 3 audiobooks on the house. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. That's audiobooks.com/podcastfree.
Okay, this is a 30-second commercial, and I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you, but please stay with me. In just 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. This company has been offering great rates and great service for over 75 years, and anytime you need help, you can speak to one of their trained specialists 24/7. The company is Geico. Go to geico.com today. Sorry for all the numbers, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm out of time.
Now, Podcast One brings you Spike's Car Radio, a downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast, Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
Welcome to Spike's Car Radio. We got a great show for you today. This is fun. We were just talking about headphones here. Our guest today is Matt D'Andrea, lifelong automotive enthusiast, but also co-host of CarCast and a million other car things. Matt, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Zuckerman's here. I was thinking about the headphones. When I was on your show, right, you guys all threw on your headphones, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And then Adam said, what, are you trying to be cool?
Right.
And
he likes the headphones.
I've never understood that. Like,
he likes the headphones.
People without headphones are cool?
I thought headphones were cool.
Yeah.
I thought the wearing of the headphones is cool. What is
not anymore because of what's his name? The Olympic swimmer.
Dr. Dre.
Who? The Olympic... What?
Oh, Phelps, because
Phelps wears them and he's cool.
He wears his headphones.
All the time.
I know, but Adam
he
was
has noise
saying...
problems.
Adam was saying, you're not cool. What are you trying to be cool by not wearing them?
Right.
Okay.
I don't know. So we use them on our shows because we take phone calls. And talk
I know
to a
why people use
producer
headphones, Matt D'Andrea.
Okay.
I'm not coming. I don't mean to put you on the hot seat right away. But his accusation, I've been thinking about it ever since I did the show. What do you mean? What do you mean, Adam? That not wearing headphones is cool? No. Let me tell you why I don't wear the headphones. And you know what? I remember when this happened. I interviewed him right after that, and I didn't bring it up.
Okay.
And I should have.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring it up to you, and you're going to have to bear the brunt of this.
All right, let's do it. My head feels naked right now.
By the way, none of us are wearing headphones right now.
No.
I don't understand the point of wearing headphones when you're having a conversation with 3 people around a table right here. Like, we're just talking. Why do I need headphones?
You don't, unless you're going to take phone calls or something, right?
Oh, unless you're taking phone calls?
Right.
Okay. So what I do is I put one headphone over one ear.
Okay.
Frankly, I find the whole thing disorienting. Like, it's when people go on quiz shows, right? They always write these questions for the guests. I don't know if you know this, but they write the questions a little easier, right? Because when a normal person gets out on a stage with lights and cameras in their face and an audience, they panic. Sometimes they don't even know their own names. And for me, when I throw those headphones on and I'm looking into my ear and I'm starting to listen to myself, and I don't want to listen to myself. It's bad enough these people have to listen to themselves.
So look, there's therapy for this. All of this can be resolved with the doctor.
Really?
I think what I've heard, you've been thinking about this ever since you were on the Adam Carolla show.
No, I just thought it was a very strange comment to say, what are you trying to be cool by not wearing your headphones? Like
headphones are dorky,
right.
I'm out?
Yeah.
I'm not doing it?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, well, here, we're a headphone people here.
And I know he meant nothing by it, but it was, and it's a stray comment, but it annoyed me. I'm a little annoyed, and I love Adam.
Well, that's the way you kick off
annoyed.
a show with Adam is get annoyed immediately.
He's the best.
Is that how?
I love? You know what I love
fantastic.
about it? He's very approachable. Just a really sweet guy. He's actually always been there for me, right? My wife was reminding me years ago we called him. He was doing Loveline or something to help out with a charity event, and he announced it on the show. I mean, I think I only knew his friend Daniel Kellison at that point, and he's always been that type of friend to me. So this complaint is done with love. Peace and love. Zuckerman raising an eyebrow. Anyway, we're doing
never complain about anything, ever.
We're doing a podcast not about Adam Carolla.
No, we're not. He says yes to everything, by the way. He's a good dude. He just wants to do
He's a great
stuff.
guy. We're here with Matt D'Andrea.
Yes.
Co-host of CarCast. How did you get involved in that show, by the way?
I ran a web development company in LA. I ran a technology company for a long time, and
Normal route of entry.
And, right, and that's it. That's the end of the story. And one of the big technology companies that I had worked for was a client of mine. One of the guys there was like a VP, was a cool guy, and we both kind of connected. We were in the cars. We did a couple track days at Willow Springs for fun. And then, we always just stayed in touch and kind of worked with each other on and off over the years, just sort of client-vendor relationship. And then he went and he was like a high school friend of Adam's. And Adam was starting the podcast. He started Adam Carolla Show.
So this is right after the radio show, right?
Yeah.
And Adam's brilliant move is he's got this radio show. He replaces Howard Stern, as I recall. They decide they're not going to do the Adam Carolla Show anymore. And he tells his million-plus listeners, hey, tomorrow I'm going to be in my kitchen with a microphone. I don't know what's going to happen, but find me on adamcarolla.com.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like a 72-hour thing. He's like, I don't know what a podcast is, but if I can still talk to these people, let's do it.
As legend goes, he was in his underwear walking around making coffee, just talking, right? And that was the beginning of this podcast thing, right?
So about 6 months after he started that,
But think about that moment, Zuckerman.
I remember the moment,
but being prescient enough to go, hey, to all of my people, rather than getting this fan base back, just show up tomorrow to my website, and something will be happening. That's a pretty exciting little moment for broadcasting.
Genius. I remember the moment, and I remember thinking, well, there goes another guy we'll never hear of again, because I'm dumb and I have contempt before investigation all the time.
Right, but really, there's an innovative moment happening there. So he does that. He gets this podcast thing going.
Right, before podcast one, before anything.
Right,
so there was also like this learning curve, like telling people what's a podcast and what you're doing. And so about 6 months into it, he started CarCast with this friend of his, and that guy called me and he's like, hey, I know you're kind of moving out of technology, getting more into the automotive, like as a profession. How do you feel about maybe coming in and trying to produce the show? I had already known most of everybody in the automotive aftermarket, so I thought it as an opportunity to start to go out and put people on the show that are interesting car guys and people in the manufacturing part of the world, but that aren't car guy celebrities. Like now, now there's guys like John Hotchkiss, a suspension guy who's done TV and different shows, and Ken Lingenfelter. Ken Lingenfelter goes to car shows and events now and signs autographs, but you would never think back then.
I know.
Like, hey, John Hotchkiss is a great racer. His family's racers, and he owns a suspension company in Santa Fe Springs. How about bring him in as a guest and let's talk about how he built the company and the suspension, the dynamics of it, and so I started producing that, and then eventually Adam, said, why don't you co-host it with me? And I said, sure.
And there you go.
And that was it. But it was great to do, and you're right, there was such a learning. I don't even think Adam was allowed to even make money in that first year. I think he was still basically under a radio contract.
Right.
And he just had to pay out of pocket. He was just like, I just want to do this for the fans. Let's just do this for as long as we can.
It's an amazing moment. Now, Zuckerman, so Podcast One has 200 podcasts, all right? There are 200 of us here. CarCast is one of them. Adam Carolla Show. There are a bunch more. Adam, I was told, is 50% of the business of Podcast One.
Yeah, Carolla Digital amounts
just one guy, Carolla Digital, for what they're doing, making money.
So impressive.
It's impressive.
So impressive.
And how many car casts a week do you do? Are you doing 5 a week at this point, or
no? Thanks for asking, Spike, because we do one a week, but we're just launching this second episode. But we're expanding the CarCast brand. I'm going to continue to do once a week with Adam because he loves so much vintage racing and car collecting. We've had this conversation many times. But I'm also going to do a second weekly show with Goldberg, the wrestler.
Oh, you are? You got Goldberg. Now, I worked with Goldberg. Goldberg is nuts.
He's nuts, but he's such a, like...
And I love him. He's a car guy. You know, we did a pilot with him with Magnus Walker. In fact, it was a special that aired on History, I think. And that was quite a meeting of minds, those two. We had Magnus Walker and Crazy Goldberg and... well, I'd love to show you the B-roll.
I'd love to see the B-roll because, as you're listening to this show, we would already be in the studio, but we're literally starting the first show.
I like that. And what are you guys going to talk about on this podcast?
Well, so now we can get more into the muscle car market, the aftermarket, everything you see at SEMA. He's got a collection of 22 or so muscle cars, and he's got two Hellcats, a Charger and a Challenger Hellcat. He's got two Demons.
He lives near a runway that he runs them on, right?
He does, for charity events too as well. Yeah, he runs his Lawman Mustang out there. Does tons of charity stuff for the military, loves all that stuff. And but also
and he's also just one of these wrestling car collectors. Like John Cena is emerging right now on YouTube with his car collection. He's talking about cars. And what's funny about both these guys is
I don't know if Cena's a car guy yet, or just a guy who buys cars.
Look, every week he's putting out videos on YouTube. And then he's getting sued by Ford for some of it. But what I like about both those guys is they're buying cars and they're building cars that kind of look like versions of themselves, like steroided out wrestler mobiles.
Because Bill only can fit in a certain amount of cars,
right? But they're also, the engines are jacked up. Like it's an
Cobra that's
it's an extension of this wrestling personality. Yeah, right. It's its own very specific kind.
I hosted a YouTube show for GQ magazine called Car Collectors. We did a bunch of collections, and Goldberg was on it. And I was like, we've got to drive one of the cars, so just pick something insane. He's like, oh, well, the Cobra's insane. And we got into that, and I think it was Hendrick Motorsports. Mm-hmm. I think Hendrick Motorsports was like, hey, we had a great season, whatever, years ago racing, and we've got one of these insane NASCAR engines. And he was like, do you want it? He's like, yes. Can you put it in something for me? They're like, what do you want? He goes, the lightest, stupidest thing you can find. And they're like, oh, this will be fun to put it in a Cobra, though, because it's a little, it's a Chevy-based motor, and we'll put it in a Cobra, and that'll piss people off, and it's super light. And we just went out and just spun around in circles and just smoky circles in that car. And he's not afraid to hammer down. That's the thing. And, Goldberg's wife's a stunt woman, so...
She would have to be to lay beneath that man. So will this be where you like that, Zuckerman?
That was your best line ever.
Ooh, a dirty sex joke for you, my friend. Now, will he be coming into Carolla Digital in the Valley where you guys do your thing?
Yeah, and the best way we can figure it out.
Paint that picture for everybody, because I know you've been doing this for a while, but a lot of the listeners here are kind of Porsche guys. But the operation you guys have going on over there is wild. Zuckerman, you haven't even
I've not
seen
been
it.
there.
This is one of those kind of like there are three of them that I know of that people talk about. There's the Seinfeld thing, there's the Leno thing, and then there's the Carolla thing, and they are all very, very different. And these guys have this kind of podcasting TV studio, and then this collection of cars, and then they're building Datsun race cars at the same time in multiple buildings, right?
Well, first
Do
of
I
all,
have it right?
I love that we're categorized in that group with Leno and Seinfeld as well.
Please, you've got multiple buildings. But, I mean, the funny thing that you guys have added is this. Well, Jay does it. Jay's Garage broadcasts from his thing. But you guys have this podcasting empire in the middle of it. It's really cool. Explain it. Paint the picture for everybody.
Well, to answer your first question is Goldberg lives down south in like the Oceanside area. So the best way for us to do this type of show is for him to come up like once a month. We record 4 shows in a day, and then he's gone for a while, and otherwise it just gets to be a mess. So that's kind of the goal. We'll do a few live shows and on location shows.
And will this be a podcast one show?
It will be. It's everything through Carolla Digital ultimately is a podcast.
So will they have to get rid of one of the 200? Because Norm Pettis, who runs the thing, said not a podcast more than 200. So let's get rid of somebody right now.
Okay, well, let's cut somebody if you like. But I feel like
let's
I don't
see
know
whose name come. Mackey and Judd, you're done. Whoever you are, I'm looking at their name up on the monitor.
The first name up on the screen.
Eisen extra. No, we're going to keep Rich Eisen. He's great. Yeah. He does a good show.
I don't know. I made it a Carolla Digital show,
right?
So I don't know, like. Does Podcast One say they have 200, or do they have?
There's Spike's Car Radio,
or do they have like 200 plus?
It doesn't matter.
Whatever
it doesn't matter.
Let's
talk about what you have going on down there because it's impressive.
So Adam originally had he had a warehouse down there that he stored some cars in and did some woodworking stuff, because he was a carpenter as well and still likes to do a lot of that kind of stuff. And that sort of grew into the first podcast studio. That's the building that you came to. And there's some cars and stuff in the back and some things around.
It's a building in Gulf livery, Zuckerman, right?
Really?
Yeah.
The whole building is.
The whole building
the outside.
The outside of the building is painted in Gulf livery. It's got a big meatball and a number on it.
It's great.
And then when you go inside, like the floors and everything are done in orange and blue.
He's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, except also when you walk inside, it's like it feels like an old man's garage full of stuff, like artifacts everywhere.
It's got the gas pumps and the signs.
No, it's a lot.
It's not organized. It's just junked up in a very pleasant way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? That'd be a nice
organic layering.
Yeah, like a woman has not set foot in there in 20 years. For sure.
Blessed. Blessed sanctuary.
This is a real man space.
That's pretty much spot on. So that's the podcast studio. Adam designed and built the studio that's in there.
It's clear to me.
We've got, like you guys got here, we got our engineering room.
Right.
And, we use headphones, so we do it a little differently. But
it's great. No, I admire your setup. Behind the glass, they have 2 or 3 guys running back and forth. Yeah. They have monitors up where they can, run video. We were talking about, hey, pull that up on YouTube. We were taking calls live. It was great. Though Will tells me here we can take calls at some point, Zuckerman.
And our producers
and I think we're going to end up doing that because
I would like that.
Whenever I ask for questions, people go nuts.
I would like to have the very off the cuff commentary. Works for a lot of people. Just speaking off the cuff.
I think it would be fun just to have what Zuckerman sounds like and what I thought he looked like. Conversation with listeners, because that seems to be a very popular topic, and we're going to get to your listener questions very soon, and some of them involve that.
So really, Adam created this industry in large part.
He really did, yeah. Now, there's another building that you go to that has a beautiful collection of cars. They're Lamborghinis.
He's got some amazing...
Our production company that does the documentaries, the Paul Newman film and the 24-Hour War. We have the Willie T. Ribbs documentary coming out.
Who is Willie T. Ribbs?
He's the first black IndyCar racer. He's fantastic.
No joke, Zuckerman.
No, I'm just saying he's taken this... He's really taken this and run with it.
And we're going to do the Shelby
documentary. Is Willie
T.
Ribbs his real name?
That's a good question.
Or is that his nickname?
He's always been. I've always known him as Willie T. Ribbs.
Well, you're making the biography.
I didn't see it yet.
Oh,
I didn't get to see it yet.
Right.
But I'm going to say yes. Yeah, that's a great film, and the Shelby documentary we're going to have come out soon.
And do you guys put these films out on your own, or where do people see them?
So the films are they're on chassis.com, CHASSY, and that's a platform that we own. And our guys on the Chassis Media side have been acquiring a bunch of other properties as well. We have the Bug movie narrated by Ewan McGregor. I think we have an Indian motorcycle movie that Leno narrated.
Is that and who made the Bug movie?
I don't know. We didn't do it. It was just one of the ones we acquired.
Cool. An empire in the making here, Ferriston.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I think it's already making. They've been made. Zuckerman.
What are we going to do?
Did you see what Adam Carolla bought last summer?
What, the 935?
Yeah, I see. He's already made an empire. If you're buying 935s,
Paul Newman's.
We had to get the Porsche. I was afraid
we had to spend $5 million, Zuckerman.
I was afraid to come in here and do a show with you guys if we didn't have at least one Porsche in the collection.
I like when you're impelled to spend $5 million.
So they have that space. They have a space full of cars. They have bays where they're working on race cars. I saw a Datsun something or other up on there.
There's a couple guys. There's a
B210. Yeah, that's what they had.
There's a couple guys in-house that basically just work on cars full-time for Adam. Yeah, and we have a race shop in the back. They're restoring cars.
Oh, and
building
he's not
stuff
up there with Seinfeld or Leno.
He's just a regular guy.
A regular guy with his
I think it's
in-house
always a treat to
mechanics
be
and
in
builders.
the same sentence with those
But
guys.
of
You
course
have
you guys
in-house
are.
mechanics. When you
Yes.
have buildings and in-house mechanics,
Yeah.
How
you've
many of you-
arrived. You're okay now.
Yes.
It's all going to be okay.
We just bought a third building. and I say we because we're just part of the whole collection over there. But it's really all Adam's money, and I spend it all. But
That's fantastic. And you also manage the collection a little bit too, right?
yeah, I think I.
What are you guys buying? What can you say?
We're not necessarily buying any cars right now. We have a few cars for sale.
Oh, what do you got?
We have a 72 BMW 3.0 CSL.
Oh, we like that.
kind
What
of,
color? That's
it's
very
black,
exciting.
Cuffy Crab.
How-
vintage race this car.
Really?
And
That's another. Can we hook him up with Willie Ribs? The Cubby Crab and Willie Ribs.
Willie Ribs. And so we've got that car in black. It's great. We fires right up. We drove it around the block the other day. You know, you can only go so far before Glendale PD is like, what's going on over
Straight
there?
That's a
pipes on
race
it? Is
car,
that why?
okay.
Does it have a title?
No, it's a race car.
full-on
It's
race
a full
car, so we
race
can't
car. Yeah.
register
So that car is fantastic. If you want to get into some vintage racing, this is the way to do it because you know the 3.0 CSLs are $1.2 million, and this is not. It's not the full, you know, one of the super rare ones. So we have that car. We have a 1965 Lamborghini 350 GT, and I really believe
What color is
it's
that?
black with the it's got sort of the brownish interior.
Right. I think that's the best looking. I think the later version, the 4500, is not nearly as good looking as the 3500.
Right, the 400.
The 400,
yeah,
yes.
the 400 GT. So we have one of those as well, but that's not for sale. But the 350, I really believe this is the nicest, pretty much all original one out there. There's been a little bit of touch up on the paint. It is absolutely stunning. The interior is all original.
We've been seeing that car show up, not that very car, show up in Malibu, right? That fella's been driving it.
That's the guy who bought it in Scottsdale, like in January.
Yeah,
I think he bought it in Scottsdale and he's been driving it around.
Right.
That car is beautiful.
Yeah, that's a nice car too.
That guy went instant car collection, or at least that's my impression. He bought the Miura. And
I think those guys are brokers.
Oh, really?
Both those guys are brokers.
I like the idea of a black 350 because there's so much engine heat, and then you've got the black car, and you really.
I'm telling you.
I like being desiccated in an old car.
This car,
And warm.
driving this car is cooler than not wearing headphones. You will absolutely love it.
Oh,
It is.
You're hearing a car sale, ladies and gentlemen.
You're going to love it.
Very
And,
excited.
Like, so the 65 Lamborghini was the first Lamborghini production model built. This was Lamborghini's answer to Ferrari. Ferrari going, hey, screw you. We don't want to build
many
you a car
of
the
these
way.
cars did they
There's
make?
like 120 made.
Ooh.
They're V12s.
Zuckerman's eyebrows are flaring.
But
Look at that.
in
He's
65,
flushed
they're
and engorged.
They're 4-wheel disc brake. They're 5-speed aluminum body.
His plenum is swelling right now.
Yeah. Every time you smile, the price goes up just like a little bit. So that's perfect.
This is good.
Yes.
Now you drove. You remember when our good friend Steve Sirio sent us a Lamborghini for you to drive, right?
Yeah,
He stopped doing this because you and I just started driving it around LA and taking pictures with it and laying on it.
I think it was a 400 GT,
Yeah.
right? So our friend Sirio said, can I have it put in your garage? And I said, well, why, of course. And then he sent it over to us, and then we proceeded to drive it
Zuckerman,
several hundred miles.
Zuckerman
you guys
calls
Ferris
me
Bueller
on
did.
Friday
You
night.
brought it back with all the miles
He
on
goes,
it.
hey, let's drive Sirio's car this weekend. I go, what do you mean? I thought you were just supposed to look at it. He goes, come on, let's just drive it. He doesn't care. And then we just hooned that thing Saturday and Sunday, threw it up on Instagram, and how quickly did he take it back?
It was quick. He wasn't.
If he didn't want you to drive it, why did he leave the keys?
That's exactly my point. It was.
This
it
is
was
what the lawyer
implied-
was saying.
It was implied permission, is what I say.
Now, I
Yes.
know Steve and I know you. What he meant and what he was doing was, I want to put this in your hangar for you to look at, and then you have the option to buy it. He didn't say, I want you cretins driving around with your green tea that you're holding right now, leaving it on the seat.
I'm shrugging, saying, oh, well, cut off my legs and call me Shorty. I made a mistake. Okay, so
you want to sell a car,
by the way. It was a prescient move, and I now look at it and go, that was really fun.
And as I said to you at the time, I said, "Oh my God, I just saved $700,000 because I drove it all I needed to ever drive in my life." I found that car came alive at 70 miles an hour in third gear and became the most wonderful experience of my life. At other speeds and other conditions, not so great.
Okay.
But what do you expect? 65
Come drive the
Lamborghini?
350.
You know what I do remember is the ladies in my neighborhood stopping in the driveway and coming up and going, "What is that?"
Right.
They thought it was a beautiful
They thought Tony
creation.
from I Dream of Jeannie had shown up, and they wanted a part of that.
It's rare. There's a lot of metal in my driveway on any given weekend, and that is one of I would say probably one of the top 2 hits that's
What
ever
color
been
was
in
it?
the driveway. It was a burgundy color.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Nice.
Will, how many breaks do we have to do? 1 break? All right, let's keep going then. Let's keep talking. Well,
wait, there's another car. Just let me hear the third
All right,
one.
what's the
Okay,
third
the third
car?
car is a 1994 Nissan 300ZX race car driven by Johnny O'Connell, Steve Millen,
Yeah,
and John
very
Norton.
interesting. Forget it.
Doug, did you read about that Uzi Nissan suit that was in Jalopnik this week?
No. What?
It's this guy, I guess his name is Uzi Nissan. He is just a guy who his last name is Nissan, and he went on the internet and he secured Nissan.com for his little computer company. And it wasn't until Nissan, the motor company, decided they needed an internet presence that they called him and said, we want this now. And he said, you can go fuck yourselves. It's not going to happen. He just won his lawsuit against Nissan. He went 10 years. He went the
crazy
distance.
Israelis. Do not fuck with crazy Israelis named Uzi Nissan. They are not, if your first name's Uzi, right?
I'm sorry, 8 years. He went 8 years
Okay.
fighting Nissan, spent all of his money fighting them to keep his name for Uzi Nissan Computers, Nissan.com, Nissan Computers.
How much do you think Nissan, the car company, offered him to buy it?
Not enough.
He said to them, don't even offer me millions of dollars. It's not happening. I'm very proud of my name, and this is mine, and I own it. And you know what? The courts finally agreed.
Yeah, I would have sold it.
I would have taken the money.
taken the money.
Come on.
Yeah.
$2 million?
Yeah, because we really haven't heard of Nissan Computer Company.
Yeah,
right?
no, we're talking about it now.
Yes.
But he's a folk hero right now. And Jalopnik did
Yeah,
some
but he
really
could have been rich.
nice coverage about it. Yeah, I guess he could have.
He's
but
got
it
his
sounds
name
like,
though. He'll be in the Shalom retirement home behind Fairfax. But I kept my name.
Well, that will count for something, won't it?
Yes, at Cantor's at the third table on the left. He'll be telling everybody to listen how he beat Nissan.
That's a pretty good story. What's
No,
a better story? $2 million in the bank or I beat Nissan? I beat Nissan. I vote for I beat Nissan.
In 2050, no one's going to believe a word this guy says.
Well,
You sound like a lunatic.
He can Google it on his Carbon Eye computer, whatever
His
it is.
iPhone 2500.
No, it'll be in the eye there. The eye there. Altered Carbon is saying that our little phones will be in our eye. That's what they project on Netflix.
I know where I want my phone.
Where? I don't know what any of that means.
I'm not saying.
I didn't even know what any of that means. All right, we're going to take listener questions in a little bit. What's Shift and Steer? Is that another podcast you're
Shift
doing?
and Steer is another podcast. I do it with a guy named Brad Fanshaw, who used to run, he was president of Boyd Coddington Wheels, and he runs Bond Speed Wheels. And Aaron Hagar, who has Rat Runner's Garage up in Lake Tahoe, and he's Sammy Hagar's son.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Those guys are just friends of mine for years and years. And we just want to do a podcast together, so we just have a great time.
does Sammy ever come on the show?
No.
Well, there you go.
No. But
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know that we ever asked him.
Is he a car guy?
Yeah, dude. He's been a car guy forever. I
Really?
can't drive 55. Come
No,
on.
well, that's a car song. That's
It's
not
still
a car.
because he was a car guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a nice collection of cars. I know that he flew to Italy on his private jet to custom order his LaFerrari.
Wow.
And which was at Monterey. I think it was at the Quail 2 years ago.
Boy, I didn't know
Have
that.
you met him?
Yeah.
How's his hair looking? Does he have that hair still? Or
He looks great, actually. He looks great. And
I've
he's
been to
always
his
out.
home.
He's
I've
rocking
been to
around.
his
He's
Cabo
just-
home. I spent the day with him with some friends years ago, back in the day, Zuckerman, partying
Really?
with Sammy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was enjoyable. It was fun. Lots of tequila, lots of sunshine. Great guy. I didn't see any cars that day.
Just
though.
follow the dude on Instagram. His whole life is fun. He's just he don't wear shoes. He's just got sandals on the whole time. Everywhere he is, he's like, I'm at the beach. I'm on my plane. I'm at the beach. I'm on my plane. Like and he's just constantly like mixing
it's
drinks
a good
and
life,
doing more stuff.
right?
And then he goes and plays a concert. He wears his sandals and a t-shirt. He plays concerts. And Michael Anthony from Van Halen as well is with Sammy Hagar and all of his bands. And he's Brad Fanshaw's business partner in the Wheel Company. And Michael's great. He's got a huge card collection as well. He's a great guy. He goes with us to the auction. And we all get together and get a crew together to go to like Barrett Jackson auctions and things like that. And Michael goes through the catalog and just goes through every one of them. Likes to write down the price of every single car. Like they just like that's their deal.
He's living the life that Uzi Nissan wants to fall into. Uzi Nissan wants to go from his tech company to this guy's life.
If I sold my Uzi Nissan name, I'd be buying cars with the rest of the guys we get to hang out with over there.
Well, you're listening to Matt D'Andrea from CarCast and the Southern California automotive scene that we're all part of here. We'll be right back with more Spike's Car Radio, and we're going to answer your questions. If you're looking to buy a car, you're probably familiar with the terms MSRP. You might even know what it stands for, but what does it actually mean? The same goes for invoice, list price, and dealer price. It's enough to confuse anybody. All you're really looking for is a price that actually means something. Introducing True Price from True Car. Now you can know exactly what you'll pay for the car you want, including fees and accessories, before you even get to the dealership. True Car dealers will show you the true price on cars like the one you want, all from the comfort of your home. And how do you know if your True Price car is a great price? Because True Car shows you what other people paid for the same car you want. And your certified dealers know this, so they set their true price competitively so they can win your business. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit True Car to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states.
What's it like for you watching games of your son coaching?
Agonizing.
It's a family affair on Attack Each Day, the Harbaugh's podcast.
I didn't know there was actual work here.
Recent guests include Rich Eisen, John Harbaugh, Judge Judy, and John Madden.
I thought one of the greatest jobs in coaching in the NFL was Jim's first year with the 49ers.
Exclusively on Podcast One Sportsnet. Get episodes every Tuesday on Podcast One and Apple Podcasts.
Great time to be a Wolverine.
You're listening to Spike's Car Radio.
All right, we're back. Zuckerman's getting antsy. He's got to make some money.
Yeah.
Really? Today? How much money? It's a Friday here, by the way.
Okay.
It's,
money doesn't.
How much money can you make between 10:30 and 6 today?
Money doesn't sleep, Ferriston. Money doesn't know what day of the week it is.
They can't make the money at the office without you?
Okay, they need guidance. A ship needs a captain.
Yes.
Right?
I thought you had partners. Can't they be?
Everybody's got a role. Everybody's got a role in the war machine.
Right.
And I have a particular role.
Which is what?
I am
head bonker.
Exactly. I'm the guy that's moving the little assets around, like pushing the tanks across the board.
Yes, I've seen your generals come into your office where they all have files and they ask quick questions. You go, yes, no, all right, yes, let's do that, and then you get a phone call. You're gonna have a heart attack. You got to be careful. Do you ever monitor your heart in that situation? It's like an OR. It's like a triage unit in there, a legal triage unit.
I know, and the stress is not good for me, but I'm a stress junkie, and I'm an adrenaline junkie, and I like to be overstimulated.
And did you get that Chevy Chase road rage story I sent you
Absolutely,
yesterday?
and poor
and
old
did you see how bad he looks in that situation? If you didn't read the story, Chevy Chase is chasing a bunch of idiot kids in their 20s who cut him off in upstate New York.
I know, and I already told you that I realized that there is no senior fighting league, that I'm hanging up my gloves. I'm not going to be so angry anymore.
Yet it's hard.
It's hard.
Zuckerman and I both suffer from being angry guys on the road.
Well,
do you suffer from that, Matt? At all? You don't seem like it. You seem very nice, kind of calm, rational guy.
I kind of don't.
You're so lucky.
Like I kind of.
You are
don't.
A lucky man.
But I do have a pet peeve. It's like I don't know why, but people that don't signal, that irritates.
Right, now
the
you
hell
sound
out
like
of me.
Pee Wee Herman. We're talking about serious shit, like rolling the window down and punching someone in the head. Stuff. Getting out of the car. We've had this guy. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but remember the other clip I sent you yesterday of the guy in New York who pushes the woman down.
I have to say,
but wait a minute before you interrupt. Remember, I was in that situation. in Santa Monica,
right,
where a woman came up to me and started screaming, and my window was down, and she punched the phone out of my hand. And what did you say that I should have done to her?
Okay, put me on the spot. I said you should have flung your door open so fast and so hard that her little body would have flown like dirty laundry off a clothesline.
You should bloody her nose or something. But your point was, you have a right to defend yourself in a situation where you're being attacked, and I was innocent in this one. This woman was violating my space. She came at me. I rolled the window down to see what she was going to do, and she punched me.
Okay, so we're going to back up. And here's the best part of the story. I got to tell it is that the reason she was angry, you may have cut her off, you may not have, but when she started giving you the finger and misbehaving, you and Johnny laughed at her.
All right,
and that's
true. No, we did not cut her off.
Made her nuts.
We were in traffic. I pulled into the left lane. She was on her phone looking down, and she started moving forward, and her automatic Audi measuring system, braking system broke. And stopped for her so she didn't smash into me because she was on her goddamn phone, right? And that scared her. And then she went crazy on us. She pulled up next to us, started screaming at us. We turned like, what the hell is going on? And we did laugh at her. We laughed.
That was the mistake. It's the loss of dignity.
We laughed because we were like, why are you screaming at us because you're on your phone and not paying attention? It was that moment. But then she got out of her car. She took a water bottle, threw it at my car, dented my door, and then came. She had a kid in the car, and she's coming at two grown men. Now, we're not going to do anything. We don't hurt women. That's not the point. But it's like, getting back to what happened in New York, this is what happened to this guy. This woman got out of her car in New York, of all places, and opens a guy's car door. And he goes, what the hell's going on? And pushes her into the snow. Okay, she fell into the snow. But why is he getting arrested, Zuckerman? Why is he getting arrested?
Okay, the video, and I'm going to be a dick here. The video was wonderful. He got out. He struck a blow for all of us that have had a woman yelling at us. But
it's not. This has nothing to do with gender. This has to do with men and women. If you get out of your car and you reach into someone else's car, aren't you now kind of under attack, Zuckerman?
Okay.
And now do you understand why I did nothing? Because I knew in that moment.
Did you see the video?
No, I didn't.
Okay, the video was great. He gets out and with two hands, he just decks her in the chest, and she picks up off of the ground and flies backwards. Her little body flies backwards flat on her back into the snowbank. It was just such an effective deck, and so and then she was stunned that happened.
What did she think was going to happen?
This is what I don't know. But see, in that situation, I did not do anything to this woman. She dented my door. I just kept going and got out of the situation. I wanted no part of her life. I did not want to follow her. I did not want to call the police. I never wanted to see the person again. I just didn't want to even think about her.
Yeah.
Right? But it raises an interesting question because man and or woman, Zuckerman, and you may not know this, you're a lawyer. When you get out of your car and you approach someone and you're in their space, you're through a window or you open the door, doesn't the driver have a right to defend themselves in that moment?
It becomes a question of what is excessive in the circumstances, and I don't think charges will be filed on that guy. He could reasonably.
There were charges filed on him.
I think so I don't think it'll proceed because she was being aggressive, and at the end of the day, he's going to say he felt threatened. He felt he was under attack.
He did.
She opened his door.
Yes.
In the right set of circumstances, I think that the picture. The video can be viewed as really bad and something must be done. Charges must be filed. But at the end of the day, I think it was mutual, what you'll call mutual combat.
Yes.
And a reasonable person in his set of circumstances may have felt threatened enough that they needed to defend themselves. He didn't punch her. He pushed her. I think he gets away with it, but just barely.
That woman was going to assault him. She was going to hit him in the face because she'd already punched him through the window. So he was taking a proactive step to go, do not lay hands on me again. And I don't see any problem with that. But ladies especially, stay in your cars.
Do you remember what happened to me in the Cedars-Sinai parking structure?
I do, yeah. I've noticed this thing going on in L.A. where teenage girls and young women, they're doing things that I don't do in traffic. Like, I don't flip people off anymore because I don't want to be shot.
Yeah.
I don't get out of cars because I don't want to be shot. I don't want to be beat up. I don't want to die because of traffic. And I have, I can defend myself, I guess, if I get in a fight.
It's not a gender issue.
But I say this to my wife. I go, Eric, you can't do that. Look at you.
The car,
just eyes straight ahead is not worth dying in traffic.
The car makes people think that they are invincible, that they're isolated. They've got their Transformers armor on.
But these people are getting out of cars.
Anyway,
I don't want to.
They're opening other people's doors.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. All right. I want to talk about. I want to get to listener questions because I ask for them every time, and everybody gives great questions. One question, Zuckerman, that's come up over and over again on the show, and that we tried to address with C.J. Wilson, and this listener points out that we never really got there. But I thought with Matt here, this would be good. And this is from Jason. He's noticing what I noticed too. Most people can't afford the cars that we're talking about, right? Most people who are listening right now can't afford them. When we all started out, we couldn't afford a nice car. So the sub $5,000 range for collector cars is what Jason is asking about, okay?
Yeah, for a collector car.
Not, a collector car, a sports car, something to run on the weekend that feels fun. And I'm going to try to find it right here. Here, I got a little something to see if I can pull it up. So this is what I do, Jason, all right? You guys can think about some other suggestions. This morning, saw your question on Instagram. I went on to eBay Motors. This is what I did, and this is what I still do. And I plugged in on eBay Motors $5,000, and then I sorted the years between 1960 and 1980. I did that, okay? And then I sorted a third time for buy it now prices, okay?
Okay.
And within a minute, I came up with a 1969 Volkswagen Beetle Classic with original paint, a one-owner car with 80,000 miles in this beautiful light blue metallic. This Volkswagen, Zuckerman, I was going to send it to you, but I figured I'd talk to you about it here. This car is being sold by the original owner from 1969, and it's been a California car its whole life. Listen to this. 1969 Volkswagen Beetle, great condition. Original owner sale, 87,000 miles, which is fine, right, for an old German car. Automatic stick shift, he writes.
No way.
Automatic stick shift. All right. Maintained religiously. So there was a priest involved. Original engine, cold starts immediately. No engine issues, well-kept leather. I looked at the pictures. They're perfect. No tears. Original paint. This is a well-kept, stocked classic. Registration up to date through July 2018. Locals only, but that doesn't mean anything. You can have the car shipped. And here's the car. Look at that.
There it is. Buy.
Yeah.
And buy it now, which, that's the ask. $4,999.
I think the first car that you get, it's not about it's about getting something old that transports you to a different era, that connects you to what it was like to drive something in 1969 or 1979. It doesn't have to be a $100,000 car. I would be happy to get in that car and drive it. I would find it wonderful.
Like, we would buy that car right now, right?
Absolutely.
I didn't want to tell you guys about it because I knew you would buy it. But there you go. I mean, that's just a sort, and that was – I didn't even get through all the pages. But Jason, if that's your real name, that's what I would do. He's also asking about the Miata. And the Miata, we know, great car if you can get one for that number. It's the most raced car in the world because they're inexpensive and there's so many modifications you can make for racing.
And Mazda supports them greatly through all of their parts dealers. If you are racing and you have the racing license, you can go to pretty much any Mazda dealer and get parts for it, I believe.
Right. There you go. All right. So
buying a car that you think is going to be fun or trigger some childhood emotions or something that are exciting is one thing, and then maybe buying a car because you think it's going to go up in value someday, some sort of investment car, is not necessarily the same car.
And I would tell you that I've never done so well when I'm buying investments. right? Just like I don't pick stocks all that well. If I stick to what I like and it doesn't really matter how expensive it is, but if I like it and I like to drive it, I usually come out a winner because other people are going to like to drive it too. But any time I bought something that I thought, geez, I'm just going to buy this and hold it and not drive it, or I don't want to drive it, never been good for me.
We got to go look at that Volkswagen, by the way. That car is beautiful.
Why do we got to look at it? Just buy it.
Just press the button now. Any updates on John Cena? Ben wants to know. All right, a couple of interesting developments. We don't have the countersuit, right?
If it was California, what they have filed is something called a demur. That's what you would call it in California, where your first, as a defense, your first filing is saying, basically, Your Honor, there's no case here whatsoever. Throw it out right away as a matter of law. And I would intuit that what they're saying is that in the state of Florida, a vehicle purchase contract must be contained in that one long form document. That's why it's that long form with all the crap in it. So the code in Florida, whatever their civil code is, probably says a sales agreement must be contained in, all the terms must be in one document. And that's why we've seen the evolution of the form you sign going from really small to really big, because all the terms have to be in there, and they're probably saying anything that's outside of that sales document is invalid. It's invalid as a matter of Florida law because it's not contained in the actual sales agreement. And I think the judge is going to say, well, that's not. I'm not buying that right off the bat, and I'm not throwing the case out. You can conduct discovery, you can do other law and motion on it. I still think Cena is going to lose.
And the rumor is that Tom Cruise bought the car. And, I thought it was nonsense, but now I'm hearing Tom Cruise is doing a Shelby movie.
Yeah.
Why Carroll Shelby movie? Isn't he doing that? So now suddenly...
That rumor's been around for a long time, though.
What?
The Tom Cruise Shelby movie. But on the
still,
Ford GT, though, you're saying Tom Cruise couldn't have got on the list?
Well, would he? Well, we've talked about, maybe Ford says we don't want it to fall into the hands of Xenu for a billion years. I don't know. We're just speculating.
This is listeners who have told us through a friend of a friend, and it's pure rumor,
speculation.
But from a Ford dealership down in Florida, that what they're hearing is the car was sold to Tom Cruise.
And when we connect the dots, we know that Cena lives in the same area.
Yeah. Now we're selling conspiracies.
Okay, but anybody that owns that car eventually is going to come out as the owner of that car. It's that ridiculous color, and there's not many of them.
What color was it? I don't remember.
It's this weird bluish teal thing.
Exactly.
Something or other. Yeah.
Oh, it was a special order color?
They all were, I thought, that blue.
They're all that blue, right.
Yeah.
But there are lots of those cars floating around.
How many, really? You say lots,
and I think
a few hundred.
Maybe it's striped to lead if they don't have all that.
I have not pressed CAA about this yet. I keep forgetting. All right, I'm going to press. I'm going to press.
Invisible wrap. Test mule wrap.
We have another close connection. My business partner, John, his brother-in-law makes movies with Tom Cruise. There is a way into this. They make those Mission Impossible movies together.
Mission Impossible.
I'm closer than I think to finding this out. All right, let's get to some more questions here. Someone's asking the 964 RS America, the 1993. What do you guys think about it? We've had that question before, right? We don't think much of it, right? Is it a special 964 now? It never was back then. What do you think, Zuckerman?
Okay. Since RSs are unaffordable and 964s are impossible to find, if you find a good RS America, then you've got a good 964. Buy it on that basis. But is it more valuable than a regular 964 because it's an RS America? The answer is no, because that was kind of sopped to the American market at the time. Put on door pulls and a couple of other little bits that make it look like an ersatz RS, but it's not an RS.
Ersatz.
Plenum.
Is there a drastic premium on the America versus the non?
A little bit. People try to get a little extra money.
Yeah, it's the confusing part. Like the RS part, the name, that's good. The America part, not so good. You want 964 RSs? Yeah, everybody wants that. The RS America, It's
because
like
it
like
doesn't
skim,
have the engine. It doesn't
skim
have
milk.
the suspension.
It's skim milk, right?
Ooh.
And the 964 RS is half and half, baby.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? All right, Motorator.
Yeah.
935 talk, please.
Okay.
Do you have any updates on the 935? And this is from your buddy Apex Dream Cars, whoever that is.
Right. So, I mean, as far as updates, I don't know where you're picking it up. So, we bought the car 2 years ago. Adam brought it to Monterey this past August, raced it. Bruce Canepa did a little bit of work for us for a lot of money.
Brucey.
And as Canepa does.
Canapized, as we call it.
And
he talks, but you get your money's worth with the talk.
That's right.
And you also
and then we get the conniption when you get the bill.
Yes. But you do get a hell of a lot of documentation. You get a nice folder of everything.
Hey, wait, did you get the folder with the Q-tips?
Do you have
the
a guy?
Q-tip picture?
Yeah, we all have that. The guy pointing. It's like they give you a little photo album, and it's always the guy with the glove pointing at the things. That
there was
Q-tip,
that.
Yes,
there was a lot of that.
He's got a Q-tip against
That's
the
our
door,
favorite.
and we love that. Could be any door.
Well, I mean, I guess we could have taken these photos ourselves for a lot less money, but the car, the car worked great.
Have you driven it?
No.
Oh.
No.
I would demand that today.
Now, we did sign it up for Rennsport.
Oh,
and
wow.
And Adam wants to drive it there.
Rennsport Reunion is the big Porsche Woodstock Festival that's happening this fall, right? It's
That
all
is
the
in
race
September.
cars, historical race cars. You hear them on the track, you race them around. You guys got to check it out.
Now, we did sign it up for Monterey this year, but there's probably a change in the car. We're probably not going to race that in Monterey. We're going to bring something else just because of a sponsorship deal and advertising and stuff. But really all we've done on the car is we just started doing plugs and wires on it. It needed wires, and I'm not sure why it wasn't done. We believe it was losing a cylinder during the race. And other than that, it looks good. It's fantastic. And we are going to tune it as well. We're going to do it. We're going to put it on the dyno and put some numbers down on it. So probably
didn't Canepa do that for all that money?
Yeah,
to put you on the spot.
I don't know that he did.
Sean wants to know when you're going to buy a Porsche. When is it going to happen?
I've been craving
what do
one
you
for
have?
a while.
What do you drive yourself? What are your cars?
I have a 2001 E46 M3 with a supercharger.
Oh, really? How does that work? A supercharger.
Zuckerman is so into
the
BMWs
last of the
right now.
V8 interceptors. Remember from? Yeah, I mean, where does that fit? How does it work?
It's downstairs. It's in the garage.
Does it come out the top?
No. It's not a twin screw supercharger on top of the engine. It's a centrifugal supercharger, so it uses a Vortec with an air to water intercooler. This was Adam's car. Adam built this car back in the day, and he bought it new, and he special ordered it, sunroof delete, and as lightweight as possible. And he drove it for like 2 years, put about 13,000 miles on it, and then a shop used it as kind of an R&D car and supercharged it and stuff, and it never really ran well. So the past 6 months or so, I've been going through and I've been fixing the car and custom radiator made.
And how does it run now?
And now it runs fast.
Does it make a funny noise?
It does squeal a little bit. The supercharger does have a little bit of whine to it that I like, and
exciting.
It's got about 20,000 miles on it. It's a 2001 with 20,000.
There's a question somewhere here,
fast as
Zuckerman,
shit.
about the 1M. I'm scanning down right now. Hold on, because Zuckerman's all about these little frat boy BMW 1Ms.
Call it what you will. Once it looks one way from the outside, but when you drive it, amazing.
I drove the Dynan version with the turbo that makes whatever they added.
400.
All right, here it is. It's from this dude, Tom.
Did you like it?
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, the short wheelbase and the suspension make for a bumpy ride, but
Tom,
it just blasts around town. It's so much fun.
Tom says, I usually have a beater commuter car. Right now, a secondhand Golf R. Excellent choice, dude. I'm not sure I would give that up. But after seeing your post, I'm jonesing hard for a 1M. Is it a reasonable day-to-day car? He drives 45 to 100 miles per day, and that's Tom. What do you think, Zuckerman? I know what you're going to say.
I say yes.
Is it reasonable, though?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, you have two of these things. The one that's not all jacked up, does that have that same turbo pop?
It doesn't make the noises.
So
it feels
to me makes it more reasonable.
Okay, it feels fast as fuck. It's even the stock one is fast as fuck. The one that's been modified and chipped and tipped and all of that is a demon. It's insane. But yes, you could easily drive that every day.
Sure. It's a beautiful car. It's really fast. And you know where it's really best is like when I had it on the PCH and you're playing Frogger there and you're darting in and out. It's very capable in that situation.
And what about when the road's uneven? It
doesn't bother me compared to Porsches.
Yeah. I mean, I'm driving an E46 with suspension on it, so I feel everything, and and the car makes a ton of noise.
I think it's actually softer than many of the Porsches I drive. So to me, it's actually a bit of a cushy car for me to drive.
Yeah, like everybody that drives old cars and things like that, you get into even something new like a
1M, which is 2011.
BMW, and anybody getting out of their 6 Series or something is going to go, wow, this thing rides rough, but not compared to all the other. Like I have a 92 Alfa Romeo Spider. I mean, my M3 rides rough, but it doesn't ride rougher than that thing.
Right, I love that car. I love that funny Alfa shift position. It's
coming out of the dash.
It's
like
so
that,
peculiar and wonderful.
Someone wants to know what my favorite Heuer watch is.
Yes, the one you're wearing. Is gorgeous.
I am wearing it. You're right. I'm wearing. This isn't my favorite, but this is a Siffert Colors Autavia. It's called, and I'm wearing it because my favorite watch right now is this reissue I sent you, Zuckerman. They're reissuing the Tag Heuer's reissuing the
and you
Siffert
told me
Autavia.
to buy one, and what happened?
Caliber. It's in association with Caliber 11, which is this, I think, Tag Heuer associated website in Australia. Well, I know that. And they worked together to design this watch. They made 100 of them. I was lucky enough to get an advance phone call.
You got one?
And get one.
Jerry got one?
I procured one for Mr. Seinfeld. And then I told you.
And I didn't.
I sent it to you. I said, order it right now.
I understand. I got busy.
They sold out in 10 hours.
I got busy, and I missed out. You guys, but the watch you have on right now is so good looking
this
right
is the
now.
Vintage
You should
one.
take
like
a picture of it and post it right now because it's really nice.
This is a great little watch.
And under the lights here, it's
if you want, I can sell you my other Autavia. You know the one with the black dial and the white sub dials?
We'll talk. We'll talk.
As long as
Never
you're buying
agree
shit.
right away.
Yeah.
Someone here is taking issue, Zuckerman, with your blue 997 TT. And they say, as I said originally, seems out of character for the rest of your collection. Please explain. Now, what I like about that car is the color. It's Meissen blue, right? Which is very much in character with the type of stuff we all collect, right?
Right.
But it's
it's the twin turbo.
Blandness of the twin turbo.
Okay, it's the twin turbo PDK that might throw somebody off. And the truth is that every once in a while, it's nice to have a car that you don't have to work too hard in. But at the same time, don't forget this is a 997. It's smaller than the current car. It's got a great suspension. It handles really well. It's fast as fuck. It's a really great car, and if you're looking, if anybody says, what's the first Porsche to buy, I'm always going to say buy a 997 and buy as much 997 as you can. I think those are the greatest series of 911s out there.
What was the issue somebody was having? Because I think it's a great car.
Yeah.
Just around the other metal, like you know what it's like when you have a collection and it's curated and you start to have iconic cars in it and bigger stuff. When you drop something else in the middle of it, it always looks odd to everyone.
Right.
The BMW 1M. And this car, which I don't agree with. I like that blue car. I think it kind of makes sense in the collection. Because, in Zuckerman, you and I were just talking about this the other day. We've been talking about this for 20 years. I've been talking with Jerry for 20 years. Money confuses the issue every time with these cars. And it gets confusing to this guy because he doesn't understand. What we forget is it's about driving. And when you find a car that you love to drive, it doesn't matter what it costs.
It's like our 87.
And I've seen it over and over again with these multi-million-dollar Ferrari collections, and you talk to the guy, and he says, "You know what I drive every day? My 328." And you go, why? And it's because it's not about money; it's about the experience behind the wheel. And that doesn't mean you can't experience money behind the wheel at all.
Like
right?
I said, I drive a 92 Alfa Romeo Spider.
That's right.
Why? It's a money pit. I'm never going to make money on that car. But
and you ask me what would I choose between a 550 and a 356 Speedster? Speedster every time. I've driven the 550s. They're beautiful to have. But $5-6 million car sitting there, great. I don't like driving.
Right.
I'm sorry. I just don't. I want to get in my Speedster more often than not. So, there you go. There's a little useful wisdom for you guys.
And I'll tell you one last thing about the 1M.
Go ahead.
Not only do I like...
Oh, now he's defensive.
No, I'm not. But I'm going to give you a clue because you both probably have some kids. Not only do I like driving it, my 16-year-old son likes driving it.
Yeah.
And it's a stick.
He's 16.
And
wouldn't you like driving anything?
But most kids don't drive stick. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say he's the only one that can drive a stick in the whole of his high school. And he loves to drive that car. And that thrills me that he's learned how to row a manual gearbox.
Yeah. No, well, he has to. All of our kids sitting here will have to drive manual transmissions.
What's your thought on it? Do you send your kid to like a bondurant school or anything like that?
Totally.
Or do you?
Yeah,
shouldn't every kid?
I'm sending both my boys to racing school, and I'll tell you why. Because I remember when I went, the way they talk to you in that first 5 minutes, like, I understand you want to go fast and drive like an idiot, and this is the place to do it.
Yeah.
You don't do it on the roads, and we're going to get you comfortable with screeching tires and spins and everything else. And it really did help my driving after that. I never panic anymore in a panic situation.
Unless a woman's coming at you with a
Yeah.
water bottle and a baby.
I didn't panic there.
Yeah,
I was just dumbfounded. I was just like, what? No, I was not panicked. I just didn't want to do anything stupid like the guy in New York who pushed the lady in the snow.
I think everybody getting their license should go to a driving school.
I totally
like that.
believe
and
that.
you should do the skid pad car in slow motion.
And if you can't do that, find a parking lot somewhere and get your, on a rainy day, on a snowy day, get your kids used to that stuff and that feeling. And it really does help. You don't want your body pumping that adrenaline in that situation because then you're making mistakes.
You don't have to do $4,000 3-day racing school.
No,
like,
not at
go
all.
do a $500 half day entry to driver's ed bondurant school program. Every kid
in
should
many
do that.
countries, you take in Europe, Germany, for example, they really have to learn how to drive a car. And I was always nothing surprised me more when my daughter was taking her driver's test, and I said, "How did you do on the parallel parking?" And she said, "They don't have that on the test."
Yeah,
it's that they've dumbed the test down.
How do you not? Where else do you park in LA if you're not parallel parking?
So they dumbed the test down, and we had to learn on old jalopies. We've had the advantage of starting with really shitty cars and working our way up to
My science teacher taught me how to drive, Mr. Monaster. He was also the driver's ed teacher. And it's, if you imagine that, it's me and two other of my flunky friends in the back seat
on a hot day,
and just what are we doing here? You learn the rules of the road, but there's nothing. The one thing that I remember he taught me is like every 3 seconds, move your eyes to the different mirrors, left to middle to the right, and I do use that constantly. But that's it. The rest of it I learned on the road, and the big chunk I learned was at racing school many years later.
If you take a driving test now, I don't know what kids are doing. Are you allowed to use the reverse camera? Or do
think so.
Or do they say, don't look at that, use your mirrors?
They have you park in a supermarket parking lot situation where you pull head in and then you back out. That's it.
Do we have to be out of here at 11 o'clock? Are we okay to keep going here a little bit?
I think you have a couple minutes.
Okay. We got a couple more minutes. Okay. What else should we talk about, guys? Oh, Zuckerman. I know what we want. There's one last thing I wanted to discuss with you. And thank you, everybody, for your questions. It's very nice of you guys to do that. We have a very passionate listener base, Zuckerman.
You're slitting your eyes at me. You're looking very, very Jewy at me.
I'm saying a nice thing to our listeners, who I like. And
but you're going to try to get me right now. I see that look on your face. What are you cooking up over there, Ferriston? What do you think you're going to get me?
You're so paranoid. I'm not going to get you on anything
at all. Let's hear it.
But this show probably isn't going to air for a few weeks. But this week we had two very cool track-focused cars announced. The 488 Pista Ferrari and the new GT3 RS. And the new GT3 RS, Zuckerman, I think is something you and I should discuss. This car came out. It came out in that spectacularly weird green. What is it called? Martian green. But that's just the camera car. They always do that for the photos.
That interior, oh boy.
But, what are we doing with this car at this point, right?
We're not.
If you're, one of these guys who's buying all the new Porsches that come out, you've already ordered your GT2 RS, which is your
I was going to ask you, when you came and did my show, you said you guys ordered one together or separately. I don't know.
Yes.
Did you get it?
No, not yet.
Not until probably September.
And now Zuckerman has wormed his way into my GT3. Yesterday called me. He knew. See, this is why it's tough to do business with a lawyer. He calls me and he goes, look, I have a GT3 Touring on order, but I'm going to give it to my partner, so I need half of yours. He knows in that conversation I can't say no. He knows that I have to say yes. I have to do the right thing.
Do you make him buy the watch you're trying to sell to close that deal?
No, that's fine. I want to keep that watch. I don't want him to have it. But he wants...
Now you don't want me to have it.
Now he's out.
Now I want the fucking watch. You already told me.
You can have it. I will do that.
No, I don't want it now.
You are my friend, and we do fun things together. So you always... But he wants 18-way seats in the car. Because his back doesn't. That's fine with me. I don't.
And my carcass does not. I am larger, wider than you two guys, and the buckets, the carbon fiber buckets, are not.
They don't look as nice in the car.
You're
though.
right.
You know that.
I don't disagree with you. Carbon fiber buckets look way cooler.
When you look into that, I have my blue car in the garage right now,
with
and you just go, my God, those like ribs, those alien ribs of those seats.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
I just can't sit.
So this is what I'm going to do. That I'm going to let you have half this car. I'm going to let you put the 18-way seats in it, okay?
And you pick everything
in
else.
exchange. No, yeah, I already did. It's already ordered. It's ready to go.
Okay,
you're going to like everything that's in it, right?
Something was coming.
Unless there's something you don't. Unless there's some special thing you like in a GT3. What is
the only thing I ask for you? The 18-way seats, and the rest is yours.
All right. Well, I mean, little conveniences that we need. The lift kit I threw in there. I had to do that. Sometimes I don't know if I threw the fire extinguisher in there. I like that too. It doesn't matter. But and I think I put a radio in it. I put the nice radio.
I like the Burmeister.
There you go. I don't think it's a Burmeister. I think they only offer a Bose.
Okay.
But, okay. This is in exchange for that. I want to put racing belts in the GT2 RS. I don't want a cage, but I want to put the real deal. We're going to have sports seats in there, and I want to put the real deal up the crotch racing belts in there.
Well, geez. Let me think about this. What can I extract from you, Ferriston?
Would you like a nice Hoyer Octavia?
No.
By chance, with a black dial and white subdials?
If you still had the squirrel, I would. If you still had Lloyd the squirrel, I would take him in exchange. But no, I think it's a great idea. You don't have to sell me on that idea.
Right, and we just leave them in the back. You can use the regular seatbelts, but I know my kids.
Why would you think you have to sell me on that?
My kids really want to be in a race car, and I think that's if ever you're going to have that harness in there.
That's the bigger question, of course. Yeah. Why am I letting your kids into the GT2 RS? This was a very sneaky thing you just did, trying to get the implied permission to have those little. It's
going to be half my car. Can I put whoever I want in it?
Not children.
Why? You don't know how. See, I didn't do what you did. I'm nuts in a car with kids. As you know, my kids know we don't eat in cars. When we step in, we step over that little sill onto the carpet.
You got to click your feet before you get in.
Right. What I told him, my father had hobbies, and he was so precious about his hobbies and so hard about doing it the right way that I never wanted to do anything with him. So with my kids, they could do whatever they want because I didn't want to alienate them. Now, of course, your kids can use the car. I'm fooling with you.
I know you're joking.
And you can.
That's very sweet.
Yes. And remember, though, I'm selling. You know what? Here's something you don't know. I've got 10 people that want half of the car. I'm going to make a killing on this GT2 RS.
Wait, are you guys allowed to do that? You're allowed to sell them half a car
We've got to wrap up the show. We've got to wrap up here, Zuckerman.
I don't know how the relationship goes. I'm just curious.
We've got to say goodbye to all of you, but you know, if you got 10, I'm sure I could put 10 together, and we could really make some money on this car.
Let's commit fraud.
Yeah.
I'm into this.
Well, we're already there. All right, Matt. Thanks for stopping by, man. It's been a long time coming. You can follow Matt where? Where do we find you? You're Motorator on Instagram and
Motorator on all the social media, and check out carcastshow.com and shiftandsteer.com.
That's right. Zuckerman's at the real Zuckerman on Instagram, and his law firm is called, I forget, Zuckerman
Zuckerman and Rowley, the best personal injury lawyers out there.
And that's how he gets all his money for Porsches, ladies and gentlemen, from the wins. And I'm at Spike Ferriston. And you can find me on Instagram, message me there. And as long as you don't use all caps like that guy, Jesse Valentine, I will answer your questions if I can. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Download new episodes every Wednesday on the Podcast One app or subscribe now at Apple Podcasts or PodcastOne.com.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
You love podcasts, the stories, the laughs, the unexpected turns. But when this episode ends, the silence starts. Not anymore. Audiobooks.com turns that silence into your next great adventure. With over 450,000 titles, from bestsellers to hidden gems, your love for listening just found its new best friend. And because you already know the joy of audio, we're giving you 3 free audiobooks to start your journey. Imagine your favorite podcast, now with unlimited episodes. That's audiobooks.com. Keep the story going. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. Because for podcast lovers like you, the end of an episode is just the beginning. That's audiobooks.com/podcastfree.